Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome to our third episode of Lock Into Esports with your hosts.
I'm Cerberus.
And I am Ham. We are going over everything esport and gaming from this past week. Today's episode schedule listed off. We have updates on how the Ukraine war is affecting esports and gaming, esport news, League of Legends Academy and LCS, gaming news, Call of Duty CDL, Warzone, PUBG, streamer news, Valorant's VCT, upcoming games, and then closing us out with the top 3 videos of the week. Let's lock into esports. Alrighty, to start off the show, we're going to start off again with a very serious matter, the war going on between Russia and Ukraine. We understand there's much more serious consequence of the war than a hinder on the gaming industry. And although we both have a lot to say, this show is purely about gaming and esports, so we will only be going over how the war is affecting the gaming world. Our hearts go out to all affected by this war and hope for the quickest and safest resolution. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into it.
To start off this week, if you weren't here last week, go check the story out there to get up to date because there's always going to be a lot on this topic. And this week, Ukraine's vice prime minister has tweeted stating, "You are definitely aware of what is happening in Ukraine right now. Russia declare war, not for Ukraine, but for all civilized world. If you support human lives or support human values, you should leave the Russian market." He tweeted at Xbox and PlayStation. With this being said, we can start with all the cancellations around involving Russia. Ham, what did we find?
Valve has canceled Eastern Europe's Dota Pro Circuit Spring Tour. Navi responded with, "Esports won't be the same now. World won't be the same. But all of you decide what it will be. Don't keep silence." EA put out a statement removing Russian clubs and national teams from FIFA products. EA and Origin have also halted all sales on their apps like FIFA and Apex Legends from being available in Russia. Microsoft also stating that they are suspending all new sales of its products in Russia, including Xbox and Windows, along with digital sales as well, like Office, Azure, Xbox Live, and Game Pass, stating they just wish for peace. Sony has pulled Gran Turismo 7 sales from Russia. Take-Two and Ubisoft have stopped sales in Russia. Eliza Esports has banned Russian-owned organizations like Gambit Esports from taking part in CSGO tournament organized by the company with hashtag #StandWithUkraine. Blast Premier has also put out a statement banning Russian teams from participating. ESL has even stated they banned organizations with ties to Russian government from ESL Pro League 15.
Activision Blizzard has also suspended all game sales and all in-game purchases in Russia. Nintendo eShops have fully been taken offline in Russia. CD Projekt Red has stopped all game sales as well in Russia, as well as Belarus. Even Disney halted all of their film sales in Russia. And then we also heard more from teams such as the Russian team Virtus Pro, who took forever to speak out on their stance about the war, to the point where Dota 2 was threatening to just ban them if they didn't speak up. ESL just stated they aren't banned. They just have to go under a neutral name without representing their country or their Russian sponsors.
Well, Virtus Pro spoke up and it wasn't good. Virtus Pro put out a statement blaming cancel culture for banning them, rather than the truth, which is just not putting a stance on if they support a horrific war, saying they can't tolerate the behavior of players being neutral, and there is no rational reason to suspend them from playing. This is incredibly ignorant. In response to this disgusting statement, Ukrainian-based team Navi has announced they are breaking off all cooperation with ES Force Holding, as ES Force has publicly denied the horror that is now happening in Ukraine. Virtus stated they will leave it up to the players if they'd like to play. Since the players can't be under the name Virtus Pro, they are competing under the name Outsiders. Hellraisers have suspended their operations for the duration of the Ukraine invasion, stating the Hellraisers project can't keep working in this current situation and will be on hold until the war ends, committing to still paying all employees their full salary. Ukrainian developers GSC Game World announced Stalker 2's development will be paused until after the Ukraine victory. Those are powerful words. Wargaming has fired their World of Tanks developer, Sergei, doesn't matter, over their support for the invasion after Sergei has made several statements on social media in defense of the ongoing military action.
Switching to on the more supportive side of things for Ukraine, Unity has donated $623,000 to humanitarian charities in Ukraine, along with launching 2 initiatives on the Unity Asset Store to help Ukraine, donating 100% of the net revenue. Itch.io, funny name, has launched charity bundles of 1,000 games to support Ukraine. John Romero has created a new Doom 2 level, raising over 25,000 euros for Ukraine. TSM Dota 2 team has also donated $16,350 to relief efforts in Ukraine. The Pokemon Company has donated $200,000 to help families in Ukraine. The all-women speedrunning event Frost Fatales has raised over $132,000. This War of Mine has raised over £500,000 for Ukraine. CD Projekt Red has also donated over $240,000 in humanitarian efforts for Ukraine. Activision has raised over $300,000 for the same causes. And then lastly, Riot Games is set to donate a whopping $1 million, which is a whole week's worth of Battle Pass sales to humanitarian efforts in Ukraine.
We will do our best every week to keep everyone up to date on how the war is affecting the gaming world. We are deeply, deeply saddened by this absolute madness, with our hearts going out to everyone involved. We stand with Ukraine and hope for nothing but peace.
Peace for Ukraine, man.
Alrighty, let's pick up the mood for CDL fans. Merc and Maven are fudging back. Holy short balls. I'm sure with their popularity and seniority, they are expensive boys to have, but therefore, Merc and Maven will only be a part of the biggest events, just as major playoffs and the end of season CDL championships. I am so happy to see this. I missed the absolute hell out of them.
I'm so glad to hear that they're back. Call of Duty just ain't the same without them.
Absolutely. Last week, Cerberus and I came across a trend for TSM that Academy and Big League LCS, TSM has absolutely crumbled, being dead last for both. Interesting that after pointing that out, it seems others are catching on as well. After doing some digging, it turns out that the last few months have been rough for TSM due to CEO Andy Reginald Din being under investigation by Riot Games following allegations of a toxic workplace environment, which resulted in losing multiple notable staff members like their former general manager, Parth. Ex-TSM executive Lena Zhu has even came out and said the organization just doesn't see value in LCS, which has them leaning more towards mobile and other regions games where more money is there. Another money-hungry corporation organization. I am so sad to see it.
Money ain't everything. Why would they take players' passion for the game and then drag them down by giving them no support? Wait, we've heard this before. Sounds like CDL.
Yeah, you got a point there. OWL has a new sheriff in town. First, let's backtrack though. Brad Ross, formerly known as Pure, played on the North American team for Splice back from June 2016 to May 2017. He quickly moved to coaching in Mega Thunder and GGEA. Then, in 2019, Ross worked for 6 months as a manager in OWL. He then went on to be the NBA's 2K League operations lead, now announcing he'll be leaving that job as 2K League operations lead March 9th, making Ross the new Overwatch League operations lead. What a great success story.
Seems like he's moving from one success to another.
Absolutely. More esport pros taking to Twitter for posting private conversations. Seems like we always have at least one of these a week. We try not to curse on the show, so I will be saying the clean version only. Apex Legends Pro of G2 Esports, Designful, DM'd Apex Pro Inhuman, saying, keep talking ish, loser. Nice Apex career you got. Maybe focus on your own ish, and you'd find some Twitter fingers little beach. I gotta start that over. I said fingers. Oh my gosh. Twiddle fingers. Little beach.
Twiddle fingers.
Little twiddle fingers.
Sounds like a 4-year-old argument.
Oh my god. All right. 2, 1. And you'd find some Twitter fingers, little beach. Inhuman replied, rent free, bro. That booster seat is still on the table if you need it. Designful then said, let me catch you at TwitchCon, buddy. You ain't ish and you won't ever be ish. Inhuman then responded saying, oh, is that a threat? In which Inhuman then took a screenshot of the DMs and posted them to his Twitter stating, yo, at G2 Esports, is this your player making threats in my DMs? What a joke in the Apex community. This all stems from Inhuman spreading a video of Designful around the community where Designful had alleged racist comments. Designful was playing with people who had foreign names, with Designful saying effing dog-ish and this effing game with your stupid but effing names. Fans aren't too happy with this, telling Inhuman he looks pretty weak for snitching and posting the private conversation, tagging Designful's team. Inhuman handled this. You need to handle this in private, my guy. You started this publicly. You started it. Right or wrong, if you want to get Designful's parents involved, do it privately.
Yeah. All of this should be handled in private.
People talk crap all the time. Just do it in private.
Yeah. Do it in private. If you need to involve your orgs, but don't let the public see this.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of absolutely love this one. As many noticed, Snoop D-O-double-G was wearing a FaZe Clan chain at the Super Bowl. Well, news just broke that the 17-time Grammy-nominated artist is now officially joining FaZe, following their merger with BRPM, which will lead to FaZe becoming a publicly traded company around spring of 2022. Snoop announced his membership on Twitter March 7th with a simple joined FaZe Clan with a little video. He also announced it only makes sense to partner with FaZe Clan as both a team member and on the board of directors. The youth identifies with their brand, and that's something my son Cordell knew, which is why he brought us together, making it clear that his son introduced the pairing, which is pretty cool. I love these huge celebrities being involved, especially this absolute legend.
I'm excited to see this. Apparently, Snoop is an avid gamer from what I've seen, playing Apex, Warzone, all of it. So cool to see this happening, and big pickup for FaZe.
Absolutely. Cut. Out. Oh, that's Jack. Jack, you little shithead. Get out. Jack, don't hold on to the door. Get out. Go.
Oh my gosh. No touch the door.
Closing out esports news, ratatata. Time for rapid fire. Smooya has left CSGO's team Fanatics after they benched him, making him a free agent. IEM Katowice 2022 has made CSGO history with a whopping 1.1 million viewers during the marathon game of Mirage, according to ES Charts. Last week, we celebrated Deft from LCK getting his 2000th slay. This week, we celebrate Faker of LCK getting his 2500th slay. Wow. 8-time LCS champion, Double Lift, admits he wants to compete again. North American organization Ghost Gaming to be replacing Ryan with EC1S after not even qualifying for VCT Stage 1 Challengers. Team Liquid is hosting WoW Race to World First Event live in Boston. Lastly, Gravity has officially joined Paris Legions, starting the lineup ahead of CDL's first 2022 major. Lastly, after only 5 months from release, the mobile app New State Mobile is already getting its first official esports tournament in North America. That is taken off.
Going back to Paris, though, Gravity was a huge pickup for them. He definitely is starting to help turn the team around with them picking up their first win. However, they need more. Hopefully, they're still looking into bringing in Jimbo to help further that team along. So, but that's so long to Paris for now. Bye-bye. Bonsoir. Let's see what's happening in League of Legends.
League of Legends.
So, League of Legends. So this week we had more League of Legends and Academy games. Academy was playing for their placements in Proving Grounds for spring, while LCS was playing for their placement in spring playoffs. So with that said, Academy is up first. And on day one, it brought us five matches with teams playing 2 maps each. To start, Team Liquid Academy was first up against 100 Thieves Academy, where TL were able to take both maps. In game 2, Immortals Academy took on Evil Geniuses, where Immortals were able to do the same as Team Liquid and took both maps off of EG. TSM Academy squared off against FlyQuest Academy in game 3, where teams split both maps, each taking one. And then match 4 saw Dignitas take on Counter Logic Gaming, where Dignitas was able to step up and take both.
In the final match of the day, Golden Guardians Academy battled Cloud9 Academy, where both teams were able to take 1 map apiece.
And then in day 2, it presented 5 more matches. And again, all matches had 2 maps. So matches were pretty straightforward, with 4 out of the 5 matches being evenly split, with all teams winning 1 match. So pretty boring there. The only match that differed was Team Liquid Academy facing off against Immortals Academy. And in that match, TL was able to take both maps off of Immortals. Other than that match, though, games were even.
With those scores cemented, here's how it changed the league standing for spring split. In first, we have Golden Guardians Academy with 20 wins, 10 losses. Second, we have Counter Logic Gaming Academy with 19 wins, 11 losses. Third, we have Cloud9 Academy with 18 wins, 12 losses. Fourth, we have Team Liquid Academy with 17 wins, 13 losses. Number 5, we have Immortals Academy with 15 wins and 15 losses. Sharing 6th place, we have 100 Thieves Academy and Dignitas Academy, both with 14 wins and 16 losses. In 8th, we have Evil Geniuses Academy with 13 wins, 17 losses. 9th, we have FlyQuest Academy with 11 wins, 19 losses. Number 10, we have TSM Academy with 9 wins and a whopping 21 losses.
And with those type of standings across the league, it definitely shows in the individual leaders as well. Therefore, here's what we have for you after this week for league leaders. In first, it's Stixie of Golden Guardians Academy with a 5.8 KDA with 188 slays, 57 deaths, and 145 assists for the number 1 KDA. In the second spot, we have Chime of Golden Guardians, who has a 5.6 KDA with 23 slays, 61 deaths, 319 assists for the number 2 KDA. In third, we have Pretty of Immortals Academy, who has a pretty 5.5 KDA with 119 slays, 54 deaths, and 179 assists. And then in our 4 and 5 spots, we have the top 2 farmers. In 4, you have Wild Turtle of Immortals Academy with a 9.7 creep score per minute. And then in 5th, we have Kaori of Evil Geniuses Academy, also with a 9.7 creep score per minute.
Moving on from Academy, the big leaguers LCS are coming in hot with Cerberus leading last week's breakdown.
Yeah, most definitely. The first match of LCS for the weekend was given to us with Evil Geniuses taking on Immortals. These two teams were on a pretty level playing field in this match, each with 4 wins and 5 losses, so implications for the season hung in the balance. Evil Geniuses proved they were ready to rise to the occasion, though, and were able to take the match through heavy slaying and tower defense.
Evil Geniuses had 16 slays, 9 towers, 4 dragons, and 1 baron, with Danny of EG impressing with a KDA of 9, 1, and 4. Immortals had 6 slays and only 1 tower with 10,000 less gold, taking the match to 36 minutes.
And in the next match, FlyQuest squared off against TSM. TSM's woes this season continue with another loss to another good team in FlyQuest. It was just a weak showing from TSM, unsurprising after what we talked about, with no one on the team really performing well. On the opposite end, though, FlyQuest seemed to really have hit their stride with slaying behind Josie Diodo, I think is how you say his name, and Tukule, which I just get pictures of the Kool-Aid Man every time I say that name. And FlyQuest also did a good job with playing their lives with no one dropping more than twice.
FlyQuest had 18 slays, 11 towers, 5 dragons, and 2 barons, and TSM had 8 slays with 6 towers, taking the match to 32 minutes.
In match 3, it brought us Team Liquid facing off against 100 Thieves, with TL being one of the best teams in the league so far this year. 100 Thieves and 100 Thieves' recent struggles, this one seemed done and dusted before it began. However, 100 Thieves were able to make it competitive, but without being heavily outslayed, it was just not enough to bring them the match. Bjergsen showed up once again for Team Liquid, which it's why it's so important that he joined the team this year and came back to the league.
Team Liquid had 22 slays, 7 towers, 3 dragons, and 1 baron, with Bjergsen having a KDA of 8, 2, and 11. 100T had only 12 slays, 3 towers, and 1 dragon on this 32-minute match.
In match 4, we saw Golden Guardians taking on Cloud9, which promised to be a fantastic matchup as both teams have played pretty well so far this split. Even though it showed to be a close match, it was anything but. Golden Guardians struggled across the board, not being able to match up with Cloud9, with the only bright spot for them being that they took the Dragons. Whoop-de-doo. Other than that, though, it was an absolute smoke show from Cloud9.
Cloud9 had 15 slays, 11 towers, 1 dragon, and 1 baron, with Berserker having a KDA of 4, 0, and 5. GG went with only 5 slays, no towers, 3 dragons, and 13,600 less gold than Cloud9 in this 27-minute match.
And then in the last match of the day, it brought Counter Logic Gaming against Dignitas. With CLG massively struggling so far this split, Dignitas showed it was just more of the same with taking this match handily. CLG has been striving to improve across the board in every category, but Dignitas was able to use that to their advantage in this match. Dignitas spread the work across the board with all players putting in the work, and it won them the match.
Dignitas had 10 slays, 9 towers, 4 dragons, and 1 baron, with River having a KDA of 3, 0, and 2. CLG had only 4 slays with 4 towers in this 29-minute match.
And then moving on to the 6th, in the first match of the day, we saw Team Liquid taking on Immortals. With these teams at opposite ends of the standings so far in the spring split, no one would have expected this match to be as close as it was. The match lasted close to 37 minutes, but statistics throughout the game were pretty close. Even though that was the case, Team Liquid were able to show that they were the better team, leading through the slays, dragons, and gold.
Absolutely. Team Liquid had 25 slays, 8 towers, 1 dragon, and 1 baron, with Hans Sama having a KDA of 8, 3, and 10. Immortals had 13 slays, 7 towers, and 4 dragons.
Moving on to the next match, 100 Thieves took on Counter Logic Gaming. Counter Logic has been struggling, like we've said previously, and they were hoping to capitalize this match as 100 Thieves have shown some weaknesses. However, 100 Thieves sought to prove a point in this one, and they did so. They took the map after 30 minutes, despite being beaten out in the top lane, the mid lane, and in support. However, they did win it through the jungle and attack damage and carry. This gave 100 Thieves a better position for the split with this win.
100T had 11 slays, 10 towers, 4 dragons, and 1 baron, with FBI having a KDA of 5, 1, and 1. CLG had only 3 slays, 1 tower, and 1 dragon, with 10,000 less gold than 100T.
If you don't have gold, you ain't going to win. In the third match of the day, Cloud9 took on Evil Geniuses. This one was not close, as Cloud9 were able to prove why they're at the top. Cloud9 took every statistical category except for jungle and mid lane, where EG was able to narrowly squeak it out. And we're talking by like a percentage point or two. However, despite those two categories, Cloud9 absolutely dominated everywhere else, and there was not much else to say beyond that.
Cloud9 had 20 slays, 8 towers, 4 dragons, and 1 baron, with Blabber having a KDA of 7, 0, and 9. EG had only 8 slays with 1 tower, with 12,000 less gold than C9 in this quick 27-minute match.
In match 4, it had more promise, though through FlyQuest taking on Dignitas. Each statistical category was close, with both teams trying to take a win to improve their standings. Dignitas's game plan, though, seemed to be through the bot lane, while FlyQuest decided to run it straight up the gut through mid. FlyQuest proved their game plan was the better of the two, and it worked in this match, and it secured them the victory, which was impressive considering they were damaged through mid lane by Dignitas by over 11.5%, which is a huge gap.
Yeah, FlyQuest had 14 slays, 7 towers, and 3 dragons, with Kumo having a KDA of 5, 0, and 4. Dignitas had 10 slays, 3 towers, and 2 dragons in this 32-minute match.
And then in the final match of the weekend, we were treated to a great matchup between Golden Guardians and, hey, surprise, TSM. TSM have been an absolute disaster to this point in the season, and no one had high hopes for them in this match either. Golden Guardians have at best been a middle of the pack team, so it was a prime opportunity for them to move closer to the top in the leaderboards. However, TSM came in with the surprises and came out firing in this match. Despite being heavily outdamaged in the mid lane, 40% to 16.1, pretty large gap, TSM did make up for it through the top lane and through attack damage carry. With that, TSM was able to pick up the win, improving on that breadstick win victory rate that they had to this point in the split.
I love breadsticks. TSM had 20 slays, 10 towers, 4 dragons, and 2 barons. With honest KDA of 7, 3, and 8. GG had 11 slays, 2 towers, and 2 dragons with 10,000 less gold over TSM in this 35-minute match.
I'm going to stop you there, Oprah. I love bread. I love bread. I eat it every day.
Every day. I eat bread every day.
If you don't know what we're referencing, look up the Oprah bread interview.
I was going to say only a few people will understand that, but the ones who do will lose it.
It's hysterical. Go watch it.
Scores have been tallied, and here is how it is and how it has changed the league standings for Spring Split. Tied for first, we have Team Liquid and Cloud9 with 9 wins, 2 losses. Third, we have FlyQuest with 7 wins and 4 losses. Fourth, we have 100 Thieves with 6 wins, 5 losses. Tied for fifth, we have Golden Guardians, Dignitas, and Evil Geniuses with 5 wins and 6 losses. Number 8, we have Immortals Progressive with 4 wins and 7 losses. Number 9, we have Counter Logic Gaming with 3 wins and 8 losses. And then number 10, we have TSM with 2 wins and 9 losses.
At least they're off the breadstick. And Ham, some of the team's players have been putting on absolute shows. And here's who's been doing the best. In first, you have, no surprise here, Bjergsen of Team Liquid with a 10.5 KDA with 38 slays, 11 deaths, and 78 assists. In the second spot, you have Takeover of TSM, who also has a 10.5 KDA, but has considerably less engagements with 6 slays, 2 deaths, and 15 assists. In third, you have Fudge of Cloud9, and he has a, I know Fudge.
Oh, Fudge.
Oh, Fudge. He has a 7.5 KDA with 40 slays, 15 deaths, and 73 assists. Now, in fourth and fifth, we have our top 2 farmers. In fourth, it's Danny of Evil Geniuses, who has a 10.3 creep score per minute. And in fifth, you have Hansama, also of Team Liquid, who has a 10.1 creep score per minute, bringing in at that number 2 farmer spot. So, well, that's all we have for League of Legends this week. Now for our show's best Slayer, Ham, what you got in the game news? I love it.
We're starting off gaming news with some more toxic big corporations. This time it's Twitch. A recent report from Bloomberg detailed the company has lost 300 employees back in 2021 and are on track to lose many, many more this year as well. Some of those lost are creator development Marcus DJ Wheat Graham, COO Sarah Clemens, and CCS Michael Aragon. Why? Well, I'm glad you asked. Twitch started hiring workers from Silicon Valley who were unwilling to learn what the Twitch community is and why it's so incredibly special, making the company more corporate than the special community it has always been. Twitch even tried to monetize streamers' growth with new programs like Twitch Boost that allowed streamers to pay to promote their channels, which was immediately slammed by huge streamer Ludwig, who called it predatory. DJ Wheat is ringing the alarm that Twitch could be heading down the wrong path, which makes me really sad.
Same. And I understand the purpose of a company is to make money, but this is just way too far. Streaming is about the community, just like our show is about you guys out there. We do this for you guys. And it's just more about bringing content to the beautiful people that we get to share with. And Twitch is the same. So hopefully Twitch can focus less on the dollar signs and more on the good of the community as a whole.
I hope so. Speaking of toxic corporations, let's talk more about California-based organization Activision Blizzard.
Do we have to?
I'm sure people want to know. I know
I'm
it's
just
exhausting
messing.
at this point. If you
It
don't know
is.
what's going on, go to the gaming news section from the past 2 weeks to get all the recent updates because there is so much. A law passed in 2019 that stated board of directors with at least 6 board members must have at least 3 women before the end of 2021 to help rid that frat house environment that is often created. With those 3 years Activision had, they failed to meet the deadline with only having 2 females out of their 10 members. Like the toxic company they are, they're blaming the Microsoft acquisition, even though they had 3 years notice. As we know, the way women treated at Activision is absolutely horrific. Well, honestly, this really breaks my heart, dude. Activision Blizzard is now being sued for the wrongful death by the family of a female employee who took her life, Carrie Moynihan. Greg Restituto and Moynihan had a relationship. Then Moynihan's genitals were circulated around at a holiday party by her male coworkers like some toxic, childish high school BS. With that and all the bullying and harassment from her place of work, she took her life on a business trip with Restituto and other coworkers in a California Disney resort. Restituto then lied to police about their relationship and tried to hide all evidence that connects their relationship. I hope to the moon and back that Activision gets it together because between this and everything else that has surfaced, it's absolutely disgusting and there is no excuse.
Absolutely none. I don't care who you are, where you're from, what you know about gaming, how you're involved in the gaming community. Everyone has to agree this is wrong. It's wrong. Change Activision. Do it now. This is too far. This is too far, too much.
Yeah. Absolutely. Moving on here. This one is a long one. On a company that done messed up bad. So to start from the beginning of the recent VS, very popular PC building company Artesian Builds had a giveaway on March 1st. A smallish streamer, Kia Pia, won a custom PC. The company CEO, Noah Katz, then proceeded to talk down on Kia Pia like a king to his kingdom as if she wasn't deserving of the giveaway due to their lower than expected Twitch numbers. Well, this got the attention of everyone, like partnered streamers Nick Merckx, Pastilli, and Mizkif, who is part of the OTK organization. Nick Merckx went over it on a stream stating point blank, without beating around the bush, what homie said on that stream and the way he said it, it was very weird. I don't think anyone is going to watch that and think anything good of it. I don't like it. Pastilli immediately tweeted after saying, effective immediately, I will no longer be associated with Artesian builds. I believe in building an inclusive, supportive community and don't feel their recent actions reflect this. Mizkif and Osmongold, founders of OTK, got together and decided to part from Artesian builds, with OTK putting out a statement on OTK's Twitter, thanking everyone for bringing it to their attention what was going on, and they immediately parted ways as well. Mizkif then came out and stated, I will fully let you know my PC was just garbage. I cannot believe that PC was sent to me in the way it was. It was an absolute SHIT PC. He continued, it was clearly obvious it was a garbage SHIT PC. Nothing was right about it. I wish I could have said this forever ago. I absolutely hated it. I don't understand how Artesian made that PC and thought it was okay to ship it to me. But I couldn't say anything due to the legality issues. Leading into the next part here, Artesian Build purposely throttled their PCs according to Christopher Yee. Artesian PCs were having issues overheating. Their solution? They added a software others had never seen before that throttled the graphics card by 10%, not allowing it to have full power to combat the overheating issue instead of actually fixing the overheating issue. Noah Katz since then has apologized many times. Obviously, he was caught and offered Kia Pia her PC she won, but after the absolute embarrassment he caused her, she rightfully declined. Since the giveaway and the CEO Noah Katz bringing all of this negative attention, he has also been accused of tax evasion after the company's business license in California was forfeited. Board members now must file all tax returns, pay all dues and $800 to revive their business to become legal. To top this all off, it's pretty obvious the company is looking at a company-led buyout in which Trainwreck says, let me at 'em. We'll see if this business can keep afloat and get it right. Skirt! Ham here. Turns out they couldn't get it right. While I was editing the show, I got word on some updates with Artesian Builds that they laid off all employees and put out a statement on Twitter tweeting, we are sad to announce that effective now, we are freezing, suspending all activities, ongoing analysis by outside counsel for reorg to ensure fair treatment of clients, creditors, and employees. We expect more info by the month's end. We are open to assistance and investments. Good luck. Maybe Trainwreck will buy in. Anyway, back to your regular scheduled program. Oof. Update on the NVIDIA hackers situation. So as viewers from last week know that NVIDIA was hit with a ransomware attack messing up their internals by hacker group Lapsus, who stated they stole a terabyte of data and are now threatening to leak it. Some of the data includes drivers that could completely remove NVIDIA's LHR limiter, allowing the 3000 series GPU to be effectively used for crypto mining. So far, Lapsus has dumped 19 gigabytes of data that includes driver source codes and is offering the LHR limiter for sale. Also, according to the leak, DLSS source code that was leaked is sparking rumors of some sort of more powerful Switch Pro type of console, which is interesting. Be careful because hackers are also making fake GPU drivers using NVIDIA's stolen data. This doesn't seem to have slowed NVIDIA down at all, still running all operations and doing an internal investigation. They even targeted Samsung and allegedly stole 190 gigabytes of sensitive data as well from Samsung. This whole story is nuts.
That is bold. And remember, everybody out there, PSA, stealing is bad. Also, stealing source code and other things from NVIDIA, it has way more implications than just data mining, crypto mining. So you're taking from people's livelihoods and you're taking away what they do to support themselves. So come on, man. This is too far.
Also, they will get caught eventually. You can
Oh,
only
yeah.
do it for so long.
Oh, yeah.
So gaming news, bump fire. No, rapid fire. Buckle up, Buttercup, because it's a long one. The the Valorant Champions weapon skin bundle has earned over 18.72 million in revenue. With
Cha-ching.
COD skipping a year, a leaker has claimed Treyarch will be creating a free-to-play title for 2024. Cheese has reclaimed their Super Mario 64 120 Star World record with sub 138 run. Gabe Newell, co-founder and president of Valve, is hand-delivering Steam Decks. Warzone has another glitch where the redeploy balloons are allowing 0 fall damage, letting you Superman at Nawami you. You know what they say about the sound of stirring mac and cheese? That sounds like some good Parasite exotic audio. According to Bungie, anyway, they used mac and cheese to record the audio for Destiny 2's Parasite Exotic. Elden Ring nears 1 million concurrent players on Steam, and a data miner found an unused Coliseum that could be future DLC. 343 Industries multiplayer lead Andrew Witz has left his position, leaving Halo Infinite's position open. With dissatisfaction with the online offerings already on the rise, this may be bad for Halo. Ex-CDL Pro Aches, now the flank co-host Patty P, has joined Ubisoft to work on an upcoming first-person shooter game with them. With aligning company morals, Epic Games has brought Bandcamp to help Bandcamp expand internationally. Lastly, a man has spent his COVID disaster loan of $85,000 on a shiny Charizard, which resulted in him being sentenced to prison for fraud.
You lost me at mac and cheese. Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
All right. Skedaddle, Gavin. News now, you hear? CDL is in town. Cerberus, what's good?
Well, moving on from mac and cheese, Major One was played this weekend where teams were competing for their hopefully best placement for the first major tournament of this year. After last season's dominance by Atlanta FaZe, which saw them win the majority of games and completely stifled out the competition, teams set their hopes to make it a more competitive year this year. 18 games were on the cards, and here's what we saw. In day one, it kicked off with the Los Angeles Guerrillas facing off against the London Royal Ravens. Ravens have played well so far, but with experience and talent on LAG, it promised to be a good match. 5 games needed to be played to decide, but London proved they were the stronger of the two teams at the moment, at least. And LAG were forced down to the lower bracket with their hopes hanging in the balance to find some space in the tournament.
Winners, London had a team KD of 0.99, with Nasty being nasty boy, leading with a 1.15 KD. LAG had a team KD of 1.0.
Not bad. In match 2, the Boston Breach took on the Goliaths of Atlanta FaZe, led by Snoop Dogg now. Even though Boston's hopes were high with the young guns of Capsule and Nero, they were not able to match up against Simp and Abizi. And Simp showed he's still in his prime form, leading the charge for Atlanta. FaZe ended up taking the match after just 3 games.
The winners, FaZe, had a team KD of 1.14, with Simp absolutely dominating the lobby with a 1.75 KD, going plus 41. Boston's team KD was 0.87.
Wow. In match 3, it was much more of a nail biter with Toronto Ultra taking on the Los Angeles Thieves. LA were able to take the hard points, being the best hardpoint team in the league so far this season. But Ultra found the search and destroy and control through the first 4 games. However, it all came down to game 5 of S&D. Ultra proved they were stronger, at least in S&D. And in that mode, they were able to take the win.
The winners, Ultras, Team KD was 0.99, with Insight leading his team with a 1.13 KD, and LAT's team KD was 1.0, with Envoy leading the lobby with a 1.19 KD.
In the last match of the day, Optic Texas, Optic Eyeglasses, if you're remembering our last couple of videos, took on the Seattle Surge. Seattle have been crowd favorites so far this year, but the Green Wall fan base is nothing to trifle with. Riding on the fans' presence, Optic were able to take this match in just 3 games. Everyone played well for Optic. Even though Illy went net negative in the match, he did prove to show up in those crucial moments. Seattle's struggles, though, continued, slipping them into the elimination side of the bracket for the tournament.
Winners Optic team KD was 1.08, with Dashi popping off with a 1.37 KD. Seattle's team KD was 0.91.
And moving on into the next sets of matches, on March 4th, it brought us the first full-blown elimination games of the tournament, and it promised to have some banger matches. The first up was the Minnesota Rocker against the LA Gorillas. With the talent on LA, many thought that this would be a closer match, but Rocker blew the Gorillas out of the water across 3 maps. It only took him 3. Slasher of LAG had one of the worst matches of his career, going -22 through the series, and it led LAG to being the first team eliminated from the tournament.
Winners, the Rockers team KD was 1.16, with Attach crushing it, leading the lobby with a 1.36. LAG's team KD was 0.85.
The next match brought the New York Subliners facing off against the Los Angeles Thieves. Subliners have been struggling all year and have not been able to find their footing at all. And it was more of the same from New York in this one. And it was against one of the best teams in the league, the LA Thieves. Thieves brought the thunder and were able to take the series in just 3 games, sending New York home from the tournament. Envoy led for LA, going basically 1.5 in the series, and displayed he has the tenacity to be one of the best in the year, one of the best in the league this year in that sub role.
The winners, LAT's team KD was 1.09, with Envoy leading, as Cerberus stated. New York's team's KD was 0.91.
In match 3, it had more promise of being a contest, with Boston Breach taking on the Florida Mutineers. Maps were back and forth through the first 4 maps, with each going the opposite way than the match before. It went Florida, Boston, Florida, Boston. It all came down to map 5, where it took 10 rounds to crown the winner. Boston was the team able to do so, with Methods clutching that last round.
The winners, Boston, their team KD was a 0.85. Even though Florida didn't win, Florida's team KD was 1.15, with Awakening completely awake with a 1.61 KD, going positive 45.
one little caveat, it kind of looked like he was sleigh whoring in that game. I'm not gonna lie. Uh, Maybe he just needed to finesse around the map more. So hopefully he gets more involved in a more productive way. Anyways, moving on to
Get
the
more
next
woke.
match. Get more woke. Yeah. Moving on to the next match, we saw the Paris Legion take on the hot commodity of Seattle Surge in match 4. It turned out to be one of the strangest matches so far this year, uh, as Paris had not won a match yet this season, and Seattle has been touted as one of the top teams. Despite Seattle being such a big name in the game this year, Paris came out to be the top dog. Sib and Pred of Seattle had a great map 1, but after that, it was not spectacular at all. From what we've seen of Seattle so far, their success has been dependent on them for the team to win. And since they didn't have strong showings, Paris pulled out in spectacular fashion a win that eliminated Seattle from the tournament.
The winners, Paris's team, KD was 0.95, with the newest member being Gravity having the best KD of 1.13. Very clear that he was a very important piece that was missing from Paris. Seattle's team's KD was a 1.04.
Oh, yeah. And then in the last match of the day, it brought us LA Thieves versus Minnesota Rocker. I personally expected this series to be far closer than it ended up being, with LA Thieves able to take it after just 4 maps. Even though Minnesota did take map 2 of the in Search and Destroy, LA was able to take it very comfortably in the other 3 modes. With that loss, Minnesota got sent home from the tournament.
Winners, LA Thieves team KD was 1.04. Rockers team KD was 0.96, with Attach dominating the lobby with a 1.23 KD.
Saying his name a lot. The 5th started off with the Boston Breach taking on Paris Legion, with both teams riding high off their wins from the day prior. The crowd seemed to be supporting Paris on map 1, where Paris was able to narrowly take it with a scoreline of 250 to 241. However, the next 3 maps did not prove to be so kind. Nero hit a new form for Boston, with his teammate Methods starting to fit into that in-game leader role for the squad. The Search and Destroy, Control, and second hardpoint seemed to suit Boston, which gave them the advantage and secured them the victory, and completely dashed Paris's hopes of moving further into the tournament. So they had to go home empty-handed.
The winners, Boston, their team KD was 1.09, with Nero taking the lobby with a 1.26 KD. Paris's team KD was 0.91.
In the next match, Toronto Ultra took on the London Royal Ravens. Based on standings from last year, the Ultras should have taken this match very easily. However, London proved that they have leveled up and become a commanding squad that is not to be messed with. They did so here in this match, with London taking it in a 3-1 fashion. Ultra have not looked like themselves this year, stumbling heavily in hardpoint, where the Royal Ravens took both and the series.
The winners, London's team KD was 1.09, with 0 going to Hero, bringing up a 1.38 KD. Toronto's team KD was 0.92.
Nice. Side note, I heard Trey Zero talking on stream. Apparently, he had a new pair of AirPods riding on this tournament, his coach promised him that if he played well, he would buy him a new set of AirPods because he had somehow lost his.
So he needs treats and he'll do great.
Apparently.
I feel that. Give me treats, I'll do great too.
In the middle match of the day, it was one of the biggest matchups this tournament. Optic Texas took on Atlanta FaZe, where both teams had not matched up on LAN in 993 days, which meant this match was not to disappoint. Atlanta FaZe quickly took a 2-0 series lead through the first two maps, where FaZe silenced the crowd in front of Optic's home turf. I mean, Simp and Abizi were both like saying hush to the crowd and stuff. However, after the mid-match break, Optic came out and turned things around. They were able to win the next three maps and complete the reverse sweep in the series. This knocked FaZe into the lower bracket where they would have to battle back.
I just feel like a bobblehead over here just constantly. Winners, Optic, their team KD was a whopping 1.10, with Dashi being absolutely insane, bringing a 1.42 KD to his team. FaZe's team KD was shockingly 0.90.
That is a surprising stat to hear from FaZe.
From our last season's champs.
Oh, yeah. And in the second to last match of the day, Toronto Ultra took on the Boston Breach. Boston was hopeful that they could take this match, given Ultra not doing so hot in the hard points, but it was the only game mode that they were able to take off the Ultra. Ultra ended up being able to take the series off of the Breach, taking the series through the 2, 3, and 5 game modes of Search and Destroy and Control. With that result, Ultra moved on to Championship Sunday, and Boston went home with a top 6 finish.
The winners, Ultra, their team KD was 0.97. Boston's team KD was 1.03, with Methods carrying the lobby with a 1.27. We seem to be mentioning his name a lot with Boston.
True. Very, very true. And then in the final match of the day, the Los Angeles Thieves faced off against the Atlanta FaZe. LA came out and took an early 2-0 series lead, looking poised to knock FaZe out of the tournament. By this point, FaZe had dropped 5 maps straight, very unFaZe-like, and did not look like their normal selves. However, coming into map 3, FaZe turned it around in the control, taking it 3-1. They carried that momentum and took the last 3 maps of the series. FaZe moved on to Championship Sunday, trying to battle their way back through the lower bracket, while FaZe went home with a top 6 finish.
The winners, FaZe, their team KD was 1.11, with Celium taking this lead with a 1.41 KD. LA Thieves team KD was 0.90.
And then to start off Championship Sunday on the 6th, the London Royal Ravens were up against Optic Texas. This was the upper bracket final where the winner could go on to grand finals. Not could go on, would go on to grand finals. London came out hot and smoked Optic on the Berlin hardpoint with a scoreline of 250 to 178, which many think this was a preference to take Berlin to kind of expand their map pool. But anyways, however, everything was flipped on its head after that, where Optic took a perfect search and destroy, taking it 6-0 on Berlin, and a perfect control on Gavitu 3-0. It all came down to map 4 if London hoped for a shot at the grand finals through the upper bracket. However, Optic were just too strong and took it on Tuscan hardpoint.
Tuscan that corn.
Tuscan that corn. Tuscan hardpoint, to advance to grand finals where they waited to see who they were going to have to play. This was Optic's first grand finals appearance in a major tournament since Las Vegas 2018 back in Black Ops 4. And it was their first in the CDL era.
The winners, Optic, their team KD was a crazy 1.19, with Dashi taking the lobby lead again with a 1.55 KD. London's team KD was a rough 0.84.
In the next match, it was an elimination game, and it had tremendous promise with the number 1 and number 2 teams from last year. It was Atlanta FaZe taking on the Toronto Ultra. However, the promise was not to be fulfilled. Toronto lost all their hard points this tournament, and it continued here. They relied on the search and destroy and the controls to win, but FaZe denied them their modes. Therefore, Ultra went out from the tournament not with a bang, but with a whimper. And FaZe moved on to the lower bracket finals.
Winners, FaZe, team KD was 1.13, with Celium again being the standout here with a 1.36 KD. Toronto's team KD was 0.88.
Starting to see a trend. And then in the lower bracket finals, FaZe took on the Royal Ravens. In this match, FaZe looked like they were on a revenge tour, except for an exceptional search and destroy comeback from London. FaZe controlled the entire match. London are showing promise for the rest of the year, placing top 3 in this tournament, but FaZe are still doing FaZe things.
The winners, FaZe again, their team KD was 1.16, with Celium again taking all the attention with a 1.49 KD. London's team KD was only 0.86.
And then in the grand finals, it promised to be an absolute banger with Atlanta FaZe taking on Optic Texas. Optic had not appeared in a grand final in years, while FaZe had come in as top dogs and everyone expected them to win, understandably. With a best of 9 on the cards and no advantage for the team coming out of the upper bracket, also called winner's bracket, there was a chance for anyone to win and to show out. The first 3 maps went back and forth, with Optic taking a 2-1 series lead. From there, though, the next 4 maps showed who was the better team in this tournament. With only dropping 1 more map, Optic showed complete dominance of FaZe, which won them the tournament and the $200,000 prize pool. With not winning a major tournament in years, Optic's reaction was one of pure elation after the win.
The winner, Optics team KD, was a positive 1.05, with Illy showing out a big 1.17 KD. FaZe's team KD was 0.94. Personally, I am stoked to see the fan favorite Optic finally stepping up, with this being their first finals played since 2018, as you stated. But already, speaking of Call of Duty, anything with Warzone this past week? What do we got?
Glad you mentioned it. And yes, there was. Boom TV is actually hosting a $100,000 Warzone tourney that will take place the entirety of March. It is a tournament that sees 32 of some of the best duos in Warzone going head-to-head in 3 qualifiers, where winners will receive their share of a $15,000 prize pool, and then a final event where the top 8 teams will go head-to-head to see who will win the big prize of $50,000. This week, Tommy and Allman played from the back foot, which saw them give away maps to other teams due to team issues. Therefore, it left room for other squads to rise to the top. This week, Aiden and Z Smith rose to the occasion and secured the first qualifier win and an $8,000 cash prize. Brolic and Exact came in second with a $5,000 win, and third was Rated and Sage, who took home $2,500.
Aiden has won a bit of tourneys as well. I'm interested to see who will dominate this one. What you got for PUBG?
PUBG had the conclusion to their ESL Phase 1 Masters, where teams were competing for their share of the $50,000 prize pool. Last week, Shoot to Kill and Bing Bang Boom were in the top two spots, but only by a narrow margin. However, the two other top teams had something to say about it. United came out hot and took four top took four first place finishes out of 15 games played over 3 days. Shoot to Kill kept up their pace, but it was not enough to match United, as STK was only able to win 1 game and 4 second place finishes, which was enough to get them second place in the tournament, but not to overtake the performance of United, who took first overall. Sonics and Bing Bang Boom did well as well, funny statement, but only enough to take third and fourth place.
United and Shoots to Kill were so close with only a 5-point total difference, which is so close. But nice payday either way.
It was a nice payday for them, but that's enough about the esports stuff. Ham, what you got for us in the streaming world?
Yeah, so let's start off streamer news by getting weird together. Amaranth content capitalizing queen from streams with ASMR, hot tubs, plastic ball, pit rooms, bikinis, squats, and everything in between, bringing in wads of cash for her. She is now selling her bathwater, hair, and farts in jars for $1,000. Packages include a piece of hair, a fart in a jar, and her signature on the lid. The first 1,000 buyers will also receive a scent jar, assumed to be a jar of what she smells like. We knew this day would come eventually. For the low price of $200, you can also buy some of her hot tub water, as well as an autograph. If people are willing to buy it, especially this many people, why wouldn't she sell it? With her profits on all platforms thus far, she's been able to purchase only what we know of, so what's public, a gas station, a 7-Eleven. She put 7 figures into a plastic ball company and millions into stocks. With many fart packages already sold, making her easy thousands. This woman is honestly just a marketing genius.
She is. Do you? I mean, hell, if it makes you money, makes you money.
Yeah,
do it
legally.
Of course, legally. I can't stress that enough. Legally.
As we know from prior Warzone tourneys, Tommy is the highest earning Warzone tourney champ of all time, due to him and his teammate Almond being absolute beasts. As Cerberus mentioned earlier, the 100T streamer Tommy wasn't in the massive $100,000 Caldera Challenge tournament. And this was due to his teammate Almond oversleeping. Tommy took to his stream to express his frustration, stating that the past 3 tournaments, Almond has either just woken up prior or got online only 5 minutes prior to the tourney with no time to warm up. With CDL pros already having a rough sleep schedule, I'm sure it's hard to wake up at times, but I also see where Tommy's frustration comes into play, where you're depending on that person for not only money, but also your content, which brings you in more money. Hope they get this worked out and they continue to dominate, though.
They just need to talk offline and get this situation worked out. Almond, wake up on time, my guy.
All right, short rapid fire today with some streamer news. PewDiePie bought a Balisong knife off Wish, resulting in the cops coming to his house as that is illegal. Since XQC hasn't been playing Elden Ring, he has lost 15% viewership. In correlation, since the launch of Elden Ring, Horizon Forbidden West sales have gone down 80%. Enough streamer news. My mind is on to Valorant. Cerberus, can you tell me what happened?
Well, Ham, more Valorant was on the books this week with teams still playing for their seats in playoffs for stage 1. With 6 more matches to be played, here were the results that occurred. In the first match of the weekend, it brought us a delightful matchup between Rise and Sentinels. Rise came out and looked like they would be able to hang in this match with the likes of Sentinels, despite showing struggles so far this stage. Map 1 went to Rise, taking it narrowly 13-9 in round count. However, Sentinels put them in the dirt after that, taking the next 2 off of them.
Highest KD going to sick of Sentinels with a 1.45, going positive 18. Derek of Rise fought hard with a 1.28 KD, but compared to Superman, who had a 0.53, it just wasn't enough.
Can't be having those 0.5s. And in match 2 of the day, it brought us another bout between the Guard and Evil Geniuses. No one thought Evil Geniuses had a chance, as they've been on a 5-game losing streak leading into this match against the Guard, who have not dropped any in their last 3. With this being the case, it was more of the same. The maps did end up being close, with maps being decided by 6 rounds between the 2 games. It was just not enough for EG to do anything with. The Guard came out on top and extended their winning streak to 4.
Say a player of the Guard definitely stood out with a carrying KD of 1.79.
Wow. In the first match of the next day on the 5th, Luminosity Gaming took on Cloud9. Both teams were on winning streaks, with Luminosity winning their last 2 and Cloud9 winning their last 5. Luminosity was hoping to pull even with Cloud9 in the stage 1 bracket, but it was just not to be so. Luminosity got embarrassed on map 1, only winning 3 rounds, but were able to take the second map closer, but still lost it 13-15. Cloud9 improved to 4-0 in the group stage, while Luminosity fell to 2-2.
Leaf of Cloud9 really showed out here with a whopping 1.52, whereas everyone on LF went negative.
Wow. And in the second match of the day, NRG took on the Pittsburgh Knights. NRG needed a win to hope to get themselves back into contention to move on to playoffs, while Pittsburgh was hoping to do the same. It took all 3 maps to decide who would accomplish their goals. After all was said and done, Pittsburgh was able to do so and move on to 2-2 in the group stage. Meanwhile, NRG most certainly is out of playoff contention, going 0-4. NRG have just not looked good, and they will basically have to hang their hopes on later this year being able to do better and improve their position for champs.
XXIF and Ban of the Knights stood out with a 1.49 and a 1.30.
Nice. In the first of the last 2 matches of the weekend, XSET took on the struggling 100 Thieves. Both teams had dropped their last 2 matches, so it was anyone's call to see who would win. The first 2 maps were nearly identical, but going the opposite way of each team, and each team picking up one. However, the last map, the decider on bind, was truly decisive, with Xset able to dominate, taking the map 13-4. With that, 100 Thieves dropped to 0-4 in stage 1 main event, with no hope of being able to move on to playoffs. Xset, meanwhile, moved to 2-2 with a slim shot to make those playoffs.
Cryocell of Xset doing it big with a 1.38 leading that match.
Nice. And in the final match of the weekend, Optic Gaming took on Version 1. Version 1 has been playing out of their minds without dropping a single match, while Optic have been playing mildly well, going 2-1 up to that point. Optic came out firing in the first match, winning it 13-2. Optic looked poised to take the win with over a great team, but it was not to be so. Version 1, however, turned it up after that point and showed Optic who was boss and daddy. In the next two maps, Version 1 dropped a total of 10 rounds, winning both games 13-5.
Penny and Effie's of V1 were nasty with a 1.41 and a 1.47 KD. Yay of Optic really carried his team with a 1.42, just wasn't enough.
Well, that's enough for Valorant for right now, because we got to keep it moving. Ham, what you got for upcoming games? I'm excited. What you got?
Yeah, so starting off upcoming games and game updates with this banger. Borderland fans, the developers behind the franchise, are working on a quirky spin-off starring the series' favorite, Tiny Tina. It's set to be released Friday, March 25th, 2022 on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox X and S, and Windows. Having the same loot procedurally generated from the Borderlands series with melee weapons as well. You will have 6 classes to choose from to start. More details to come, but this is sick. I'm super excited for it. I love Borderlands.
I'm excited for it too. Borderlands is a blast. So, and bringing back Tiny Tina, it's on and popping for that game.
Halo developers 343 Industries have confirmed highly anticipated HCS changes coming with Season 2. There was so much hype in the beginning of HCS, but it has dwindled down quite a bit with fans and pros asking for something new. Well, there's finally a new map named Catalyst and a fresh game mode called King of the Hill coming to Season 2 release for HCS. Other Season 2 highlights for the game itself include a BTB map, Breaker, Land Grab mode, Last Spartan Standing mode, and Lone Wolves and Entrenched Armor Cores. There was a Forge mode leak that shows how you can create a gravity gun, which is pretty unique. All updates will drop when Season 2 comes out on May 3rd. I'm really glad to see they're trying to keep it so fresh and so clean.
Yeah, I'm excited to see them doing updates, and it was a shocker to not have Forge at the start of the game, which is pretty much one of the things that drives Halo. So get it out there. Come on, bring us Forge. Give us Forge.
Up next, a new Batman game has been in demand from fans for years since the Batman Arkham Knight was released on June 23rd of 2015. Well, Gotham Knights is on the way. It was supposed to be here in 2021, but the developers stated they need more time. The concept around the game, Batman is not alive to solve the mysteries and defeating villains, so it is up to the Batman family, Batgirl, Nightwing, Red Hood, and Robin to protect Gotham. With 4 playable characters, you can co-op with only 2. To be released on PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, and PS5. The date is not known yet, but according to sources, cardboard copies have already been spotted on the shelves in Ireland with a sticker that says coming soon, leading to people to believe it may be here within the next month. Pretty excited to get my hands on this one. There seems to be a lot of big games coming out within the next few months.
Nice. I absolutely love the Batman games, so excited to see another one coming out, and I will be sure to pick this one up.
Finishing off with some rapid fire. Star Wars Eclipse has had major delays, making the release date guessed to be around 2027 to 2028. According to an interview from Axios with the Valve's designer Greg Coomer, multiple games are being created and are on the way. There are now over 1,000 games verified or playable on Steam Deck. Players' survey hints at Mario Party Superstars DLC. FIFA 23 will support cross-platform play. Back 4 Blood DLC Tunnels of Terror coming April 12th. Nintendo Switch Sports Data Mine reveals Dodgeball may be added. Kirby and the Forgotten Land hits the Switch on March 25th. Team Ninja has confirmed a DLC for Stranger of Paradise. Bethesda renewed their trademark for the unannounced game Spy Team that has been in the works since 2018. Lastly, Forspoken is delayed until October to polish the game, being only available on PS5 and PC, with the worldwide release date being May 24th.
No lie, I just love new video games, so bring them on. Give us as many video games as possible. The world just needs more video games. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the news and esports we've gathered over the past week. Closing us out, we have some of our top 3 videos from this week. If you saw anything crazy in esports or a crazy streamer clip, send it our way, please. We'd also love to start doing a subscriber video of the week. So if you did do something crazy or saw something crazy, send it our way. We'd love to start displaying it here in a one video of a subscriber a week.
Alrighty, in no particular order, coming in at number 1, we have Valorant's team Ascends NC Ned getting an ace round 9 against G2.
Well, actually, to play in high contact, the camera is going to protect. Nuki doesn't know just how much out of the open he is.
Yeah, that is rough. Gets spotted by Achilles. He has the info, but can he deal with it? Oh, Hoodie able to react in time just before CNED brings him down, so at least it's 1 for 1. Starks out towards Heaven, alongside Zeke, now tossing those paint shells down in towards Mail to try and hold them back, and now they're trying to help the side, but Nukia, he's starting to come into action. He's found himself a follow-up headshot, but CNED is having a CNED round. He's found 4 already, and he looks to take down the counterpart on the other side, the star of the show for G2, up against CNED, but CNED is the best on the server. 5 picked up.
He was absolutely smooth with it.
Second, we have Jose Dito of FlyQuest getting a nasty quadra kill against TSM.
Look, 2.5 minutes till Dragon. Shenny able to sidestep right at the range of CinderQ. Well done. They found us on an Afro. Easy target. Sean that just does nothing. Well set up, but it's a 1 for 1 as the Leona goes down. John's left alone. Flashes away. Oh, he may just live a double kill in. Tuki finds 2, and he's looking for number 3. Tactical kicked right in the range. And he's on for 4. Jose Cito is the big man on campus. A quadra kill. A quadra kill for Tuki Nation.
Absolutely stacking them up like cardboard.
And lastly, this one is absolutely hilarious. Widely known fan favorite Texas Optic of CDL has finally won a finals, with the last time grabbing a big dub was the 2017 CWL Global Pro League Stage 2. With this dub, we were blessed with a big and hilarious celebration.
A BC the last one up, and it's Dashi! In front of a sold-out crowd, on their home ground. The writing was on the green wall from the start. It feels a little bit like destiny. Arctic Texas have done it.
Unbelievable plays. They get it done in the search. The superstar orgs merge together and start their time together with a big old dub.
Why does he try to pick Shotzi up?
And then he tries again.
I don't understand it. They were just
I love it,
so
though.
excited.
Yeah.
Good for them. Well, that's going to be our episode for today of Lock Into Esports. I am Cerberus.
I am Ham.
And thank you, everybody, for joining us this week for another episode. We will be uploading new episodes every week, typically on Thursdays. We hope you continue to join us in our journey of covering esports and the surrounding news. We appreciate each and every one of you. Remember to always check your corners, stay locked, and get them dubs.